Quick statement of unity as these two squads gear up. Syracuse at 12-2-1. Has the most wins of any team in the country, but they give away the opening possession to Luke Hilly. 13th all-time meeting. NC State won the previous matchup at Wake Med Soccer Park. That was a 2-1 final in the spring of 21. Which both feels like yesterday and forever ago. There's a long ball sent forward. That'll result in our first goal kick of the matchup. So Brianna, Syracuse led by the two dynamic transfers. NC State scoring in bunches outside of Connor Kelly. It's kind of unique, right? Because you have one team that loves to have a backline shell and the other that wants to find a way to break it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how both front lines combine to get in behind. And I think it's up to who's more confident, who's going to show up for 50-50 balls in midfield and control possession. There's Ian McIntyre, 5 NCAA tournaments in his tenure. Taking on George Kiefer in year 6 here at NC State. They want to get back to the tournament for the first time in a couple of years. Easier said than done, though, in this conference. We told you, final week of the regular season, leading up to next Saturday. And an opening ball inside the 18, shielded off. And that's the defense of the Syracuse. Look at that tussle in the corner. And it results in a goal kick, not before some contact. That's Abdi Salim, the senior defender, holding off. George Kiefer for NC State, 42 wins in his tenure. Said he wants to manage the energy curve of his team. What's the perfect level? How do I hype a team up? How do I keep them balanced entering this top 5 opponent? I think there's a lot on the line for NC State, and they have to make sure that they're level-headed heading into this match, and that takes communication, it takes tenacity and competing for the ball, and making sure that they ultimately keep their eyes on the prize by carrying out their technical plan that they made for the game. A plan that has actually allowed NC State to win the all-time series. And they've not allowed Syracuse to win a match in this meeting in the last 3 years. That's nicely sent away by the back line of the Wolfpack. Syracuse, an underdog story, but they have played really well this year. 12-2-1 as this is deflected by Kendall Edwards. He's one of the 6 seniors celebrating his final home match of the regular season tonight. There's an outside chance NC State could rise to a 7 seed and host a tournament matchup, but you get too deep in the weeds of those numbers with 2 games to go. It could get complicated. I think it ultimately comes up to winning the game tonight, and they have to make sure that they contain their forwards on Syracuse because they're going to have a lot to handle tonight. And conversely for Ian McIntyre, who reminded us it's actually warmer in Syracuse, New York today than it is in Raleigh, North Carolina, oddly enough. He knows how to win. 2014 ACC Coach of the Year. I think he's among the leaders for that award this year. And as the 15th head coach of this program, he's built a physical, tough-minded team that might have some overlooked recruits that are playing really well. And I think that comes down to how they're recruiting. They're recruiting for their program. They want people that add to the culture, who are positive and add in that locker room. And I think that's contributed to a lot of their success this season. Especially with 5 ranked wins. Syracuse was on the wrong end of a couple of tight losses, 1-4 against the nation's best last year. When you flip that to 5-1, that speaks to a huge growth for the Cuse. Not only does it show growth, but it shows commitment to the process. Sometimes you get lost in the weeds of a tough year, and you're right, overcoming an 8-8-2 season. Thankfully, Brana, in your North Carolina career, a lot of wins in your Tar Heel days. Didn't lose a regular season game. Super proud of it. There's a trip, and a nice job earning the foul there for Connor Kelly. We noted his goal scoring for the Duke transfer. It's his 55th career match tonight between Duke and NC State. And I'm not sure if this coaching staff expected Kelly to be this prolific of a scorer, but he continues to now 3rd in the conference in goals. He's a wonderful pickup for this NC State side. He had a ton of experience at Duke, who's also a talented side, as we've seen with their success this season. But just the way he moves off the ball, the way he's able to distribute in possession, and then his eye for the goal. He's prolific on set pieces as well, and he had the free kick, which resulted in a goal last week. State squad coming off a 2-1 win over William & Mary, but this is conference play now.
Points certainly matter, but at this stage of the game, you need conference wins. Here's the first touch for Lucas Hatsios, the goalkeeper. Syracuse gives away possession. They love to maintain a large chunk of the ball. And George Kiefer told us in the Boston College match on the road, they had 70% of the possession in that second half. They did the same thing on Tuesday, and that's where NC State can thrive. They can hold on to the ball and create chances.
And possession is everything because it allows you to get quality chances, but it's about putting away those quality chances and making the most of them. A little bit of a rough tackle here early on. Looks like both sides are trying to set the tone.
Luke Hilly committed himself to that ball and went for it. Lucas Hatsios, 4 shutouts this year. Did allow a goal on Tuesday, but he enters with a 4-4-3 record. Just a sophomore, so a lot of potential for George Kiefer's netminder. Look at this tussle down the near side. Syracuse just does such a great job physically of shielding off opposing attackers. That was Oye Gunley out of Brampton, Ontario, one of 6 Canadians on this roster. 13 different foreign players for the Cuse.
They mentioned how Oye Gunley has come into this team and has been awesome. He stepped in as he's pretty young. He's only just a sophomore.
It was a neat note, too, with Ian McIntyre about finding the right recruit for the Syracuse program, and he loves going north of the border. He loves going international and finding kids that were under-recruited in high school or the initial college ranks. And that's why this team is so good. They have a lot of new pieces over the last 2 years, and they've started to come together this year.
One of the things that stood out for me was just overturning every stone and making sure they're finding the guys that are the most hungry. And they've got guys from JUCOs, from D3 schools that have stepped into this team nicely and have performed just the way they anticipated.
Think about this year. Opoku combines with Johnson. That's 40 points of scoring, goals and assists, and both are brand new transfers. 2 of the leaders in the ACC in scoring. That's incredible.
It's always interesting when you're tied with your teammate for most points, but they complement one another well. They're always looking for each other in the attacking third.
And the best part, you get a point for an assist as well, so you can tee up your teammate. And we'll show you all the numbers here of the new players coming in. This isn't just this year alone, but in the last 3 years for Syracuse. We mentioned Soberg, the all-conference defender, Salim, a captain on defense, Curdy. In our conversation with Coach McIntyre, he was singing the praises of his defense, and yet he has some great strikers up top.
The strikers have stepped up just when they need it, and they put their experience into practice, and they put away quality chances.
The Syracuse squad, 31 goals in now 15 matches. They've only surrendered 8, which is hard to fathom. 5th best in the country in goals against. Syracuse coming off a 2-1 win in the midweek over Bucknell. And Brownie, you were keen in our conversations asking about the difference between a non-conference Tuesday and a conference weekend. How do you gear up for one versus the next? And I think both coaches were candid. It's a hard transition from one to the next.
Yeah, you have to focus on your rotation and your roster, making sure that your guys aren't logging too many minutes. For me, on the women's side, we played the majority of our games at the beginning of the season, so it's a different dynamic, and it was interesting to hear the perspectives of both coaches on NC State and in Syracuse, because it's tough, but they need to make sure that they win those games on Tuesday nights when they're playing non-conference games.
Well, that's why Syracuse is a #1 RPI in the country entering this week. And that could put them in line to host all the way to the College Cup, which would be an incredible turnaround for the Cuse. A team that went 8-8 last year with a couple of draws. Here's a long ball sent forward. Caleb Tommy looks to track it down inside the box, and that'll be continued play. No foul called. It's our lead referee, Josh McCloskey, explaining. Hardest part late in the year. 2 teams begging for calls, wanting a penalty kick. You never know for sure as this is deflected in the air.
It was a wonderful recovery from Oye Gunley. I like this inside-out run from Callum Tommy. he creates the separation, cuts across Oli Ogunle, but he's able to get him off balance, and he loses his touch ultimately.
Yeah, Ogunle seemed to have the better position there. There really wasn't any intentional contact. Always the riskiest play in college soccer, testing the feet of a goalkeeper. And Hatsios dodges that bullet.
One of the things most members on the back line try to do when they're playing the keeper is to play it off the frame of the goal. So in case there is any mess up in their first touch, they're able to either kick it out for a corner kick.
On a weekly basis, to your point, goalie misses it, ball goes in, or he misplays it and gives up an extra possession.
And when you have players with the pace that Opoku and Johnson do, having them run at you while you're a goalkeeper is pretty scary. So you need to make sure that your touches are tidy and that you get the ball off your foot quickly.
There's Ogunle, part of this back line. He joined a semester early in the spring of 21, coming out of Ontario, and has started immediately every match since he's joined the club. Syracuse throw. I love the gamesmanship here in the first 12 minutes. The home crowd enthusiastic for the final home match for NC State in the regular season. Wolfpack in their last home contest, a 2-2 draw against North Carolina, always a great rivalry. And two teams right now that are in the middle tier to bottom half of the conference, so they're desperate for points. Syracuse, meanwhile, with a win tonight, would clinch the Atlantic Division and have a chance this weekend to then clinch the entire #1 seed, which in the ACC tournament is hard to do. I don't care who you're playing. Or a Wake Forest loss, which would be a less thrilling way to win the division, but it still counts. This is sent in nicely. Shot on target, deflected. Hatsios, second chance ripped into the air. That was Singleman sending it over the keeper.
And a wonderful job to get the strike on frame. It popped out to the top of the box. And Christian Curdy hits under it and it sails upwards. If he hits on the top half of the ball, it'll able to stay low and then possibly could be redirected on frame.
Ian McIntyre said that Christian Curdy's been his most consistent player. 32 career starts for the senior. Having a great final season. There's Curdy sending one forward. Syracuse in transition. Opoku plays it in, and that's deflected out. So a corner kick for Syracuse. Levante Johnson has combined with Opoku. That's a great combination. 15 goals. Here's Colin Byros, won a national title at Akron early in his tenure. And a graduate senior here at Syracuse looks to send it in. Overshot his target back of the 18. Nice save there from Abdi Salim. Syracuse sends swarms of bodies to the ball. It's kind of a unique style here for Coach McIntyre.
By getting immediate pressure on the ball and defending in numbers, it allows you to not only win it back, but connect that first pass. And when you connect the first pass, then you're able to get the ball, change the point, and really exploit the weak side.
George Kiefer said this week, our young roster has to learn to play on that pressure, on that first touch. Can they manage it? Can they get out of that pressure? There's a deflection from the back line.
And I think part of managing that pressure is always having your head on a swivel, checking your shoulder, know where you're going to go, and then for those off the ball, making sure you're an option for the person on the ball so that you can break the pressure and keep the ball.
That's a promising ball in, and just headed wide. I tell you, Levante Johnson, he sneaks and crawls his way into the box and makes a nice angle there.
Levante Johnson gets on the back shoulder and is able to get his head on it and redirect it back across frame. Good thing is he heads it down. Usually when the ball's served in, like whipped as it was, you want to head it down and across the frame because of where the keeper is usually positioned.
Johnson with his 8-goal second in the conference behind Sigurdsson of Boston College, who now has 10 goals for the Eagles. One of the best in the country. "15 minutes in, 5 shots for Syracuse. A couple of saves for the Wolfpack and Hatsios early on. Now some pressure for Russell Shealy, the Maryland transfer, who sends it out of play. It was a good run by Luke Hilly right in his face.
Yeah, I think Shealy could help himself in this situation by receiving it on the back foot so that he's positioned to open his hips and find a teammate. The unbalanced attempt causes him to send it out of bounds.
Remember, Syracuse 8 goals conceded all year. 1 was on Tuesday night, so they have been electric. Ian McIntyre noting that's our style of play. We are not going to win NCAA tournament matches scoring 3 or 4. We need to hold teams as few as possible. And it's a style when the weather gets colder. You're up in Syracuse in early November for the first, second round. That's a style that could translate and play anywhere. A lot of contact there at midfield, and play continues. Plamana was at the bottom of it. And now our lead ref stops time. It's a hard fall for Anthony Sinclair.
Goes up and gets over the back of Plamana. Looks like he falls a little bit awkwardly.
Well, right on his hip, too. Sinclair, who has the neat note, his last career goal was against NC State back in 2019.
I think every good player remembers moments like that and tries to keep tallies of things like that in their mind so that they can come back and try to get another one.
The Costa Rican senior. He's one of 12 seniors, and now with COVID, some may come back, some may not. And that, even Coach McIntyre explaining, I don't know how many players will return. It's kind of a work in progress with our team.
I think the COVID year was a blessing for many. It allows, younger players that didn't get the experience in their first few years to gain that experience and increase their hopes of, making it to the next level.
Think of the grad transfers that Syracuse has brought in this year alone. Goalkeeper, 2 leading attackers. Now a tussle here inside the 18. Oh, those ball shaggers got to be on high alert down there on the track.
Got to stay on their toes.
The Carolina Velocity, that's the name of their club, had to put that velocity to use.
The velocity is at 0.
I like it. Alongside Brianna Pinto, current North Carolina Courage midfielder and great Tar Heel in her tenure. Evan Budrovich here from Dale Soccer Stadium in Raleigh. This ball stays inside the 18, but played to Shealy. That's a smart touch by the defenseman, avoiding his foot and allowing the keeper to play it.
I think those are things that people that play defense think about. How do you get it to the keeper so you can secure possession to avoid that pressure that was coming?
That was Abdi Salim there. Because you're right, if he flicks it with his foot, the keeper has to play at his own feet.
Makes an attempt to stop it with his backside, but it ends up falling to him, and he's able to tap it to Shealy to secure the ball.
Josh McCloskey there resetting on the throw and making sure everyone's lined up correctly. It's the nuances of a late season matchup. Number 4 Syracuse clinches the Atlantic Division with a win or a Wake Forest loss tonight. They're both playing right this time, so it could all unfold here in the next couple of hours. Good knockout by Edwards. And a Syracuse throw. Brownie, you've been in these top 5 matchups on your side, especially at North Carolina. How do you get up for it as the underdog or even as the favorite when you're playing in a late season matchup?
I think for the underdog, it's ultimately who shows up and wants it more. So are you competing for 50-50 balls? Are you being smart in possession? Are you taking risks up top and making sure that you create numbers in the attack? And then for Syracuse, when you're have the upper hand, you need to make sure that you take care of business, implement your game plan effectively, and communicate to make sure that there's no slip-ups.
And if you missed that bio blast that just showed up on the screen, a prolific player for North Carolina Courage. You have Brianna Pinto with us. We have a busy weekend of ACC soccer. NC State on Thursday, Duke tomorrow.
It's a lot of fun. I miss college soccer, but it's so great to be here.
And we appreciate, I know your brother was having a big matchup for Princeton against Cornell this weekend, so we're glad we have you. As this will result in a Syracuse throw. Great ball movement here by the Cuse. Cam Murray, who gets the start at left back, able to knock that free. Murray's back in the lineup out of Perth, Western Australia. He's played 90 minutes in his last 4 matches. There's Cam, one of the 9 seniors, 6 that are graduating this fall. So we had his senior day festivities earlier tonight. I love the photographs too. Those are always cute. Great moment.
It's a wonderful honor, and especially to share that moment with your families who have been there to support most of these players for their entire careers.
Good speed out of the back for Pablo Pedregosa. State not committing a ton of numbers forward as they concede the throw to Syracuse. Sustained possession against a team that presses so highly like Syracuse. That's quite a challenge for NC State.
I think they have the players to do it. They have Connor Kelly and Vera Plamana through the middle, and they've been good in their distribution, and also even Will Butte. Coach Kiefer has talked about just the evolution of him as a player and just the way he changes the point for them, plays passes and breaks lines, and he's been a very good positional 6.
Will Butte, 11 career starts, and he missed the last match with a yellow card accumulation, so his minutes could be vital tonight for NC State. Good open touch for Luke Hilly. And with some contact, a foul here. That's on Oyegunle.
A little bit of pain. He looks at the hold-up play. Tries to protect the ball and ends up getting hit by Oyegunle.
And his hammy got the worst of that on the back end of it.
But I think for Luke Hilly, hold-up play is going to be key for him tonight to get NC State involved in the attacking third. So if they can play to him, he posts up and then lays it off and then makes a run in behind again to receive it. That's going to be key for them to unbalance the attack.
Especially with how much man marking Syracuse does defensively. George Kiefer noted that from an NC State perspective, how we try to break that marking defense. Because Syracuse does not allow goals. I mean, when you've only conceded 8 goals in now 15 matches, that's quite an effort. Lowest through 14 matches in 8 years. Syracuse team that in that stretch made a College Cup in 15, national tournament in 16. Now a nice through ball for NC State. Control the pace, but no opportunity on target. It's a missed chance there for junior Naray.
I'd love to see Jarvis Clear get a little bit higher in the attack because I think NC State has the numbers back to protect the counter. You've got Will Butte sitting on top of the back 4, and they've got enough protection there. He can get onto the back post and keep that ball in play.
Good ball out wide to Tommy. Ray. Plamana. Nowhere to operate. Syracuse wisely clears it out. Final week of the ACC regular season. All 12 on the men's side qualify for the tournament. But seeding is oh so important. Syracuse right now, if the season ends tonight, the #1 seed. NC State jostling in that 11-10 range. They want to improve their marks tonight. Cleel stays on side, but sends it a bit wide of his target. ACC PM with Mark Packer, Trey Boston, and Taylor Tannenbaum. They'll talk football. We'll also have the latest from around the conference, weekdays at 4 Eastern on ACC Network and the ESPN app. A lot to talk about this week, especially with that Syracuse late loss to Clemson on the football side. And then more importantly, soccer playoffs. We've got to touch on that. Both the women and the men coming to a close here in the next 2 weeks.
It's crazy how quickly a season goes by.
All competing in Cary for the ACC tournament, and then the road to Cary for the men's Final Four. We're looking it up today. Sacramento, Louisville coming up the next couple of years, back to Cary in 24. So we live in this area for soccer, a great chance to see some of the best in the country. It's been neat this year with the unpredictability of the men's side. You think back to Clemson last year as a #8 seed win the national title over Washington. And it's hard to pick right now who'd be a favorite just with all the nature of no overtime in the regular season. Hard to figure out who's good in penalty kicks, the nature of playoff soccer.
And it's a testament to the growth of the game in America. The parity across the entire country is impressive. No matter where you grow up, there's opportunity for you to play at the collegiate level. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love the investment that we're making all across the board.
You think of the ACC conference, not only 7 nationally ranked teams, but they have their best non-conference record in over a decade, won 70% of those matchups. It's a league that traditionally has been #1 in RPI for a long time, but still searching for that elusive title that they pulled off last year with Clemson. Now that is a smart defensive play. I love that effort from Ogunle.
He read the game so well, and he used his body to effectively shield to earn a goal kick, and I think that's just his experience showing.
Coming into tonight, look at the elite programs here. Syracuse with a fantastic RPI. Wake Forest, reigning division champions that might be superseded by Syracuse tonight. And then Duke, who clearly is having a great year as well. Even while losing NC State's top scorer via the transfer for his grad year. Connor Kelly, it is neat how that all unfolds. That was a squib kick trying to send it in. And deflected there by Johnson. NC State's done a nice job of mitigating possession for Syracuse. They may have had the ball, but not a lot in attacking third or in the 18.
I think they've done a good job of remaining compact horizontally, so they shift their numbers over to condense the space, and that allows them to win the ball and then have numbers around it so that they can connect it.
George Kiefer noted this week, we have to be fundamentally sound against Syracuse with how aggressive they play on the ball, how tight defensively they are. They've lived up to it this first half. Syracuse makes a pair of substitutions in this first half. You see Lorenzo Bazzelli come in out of Italy, and he's a player you've been really high on. Even Coach McIntyre called him terrific as a senior midfielder. And Kurt Kalov comes in out of Morristown, New Jersey. Second corner of the night for Syracuse. Here's Kalov out of 6 goals in his career, 5 assists. The sophomore sends it in. Headed high in the box. Ooh, a loose ball shot on target. And a great deflection from the back line. I think Edwards got his foot on it.
Great strike here.
Syracuse corner.
From Nathan Apoku. Kendall Edwards does a great job getting his head on it. Incredibly brave effort from him in front of goal. Here we have an NC State man marking setup.
High corner, off the mitts of the keeper. Loose ball deflected and shot wide. What a save by Hatsios.
Lucas Hatsios says no.
Curdy is making a desperate attempt to get it on frame, ends up kicking it over the bar. Syracuse does a wonderful job putting pressure on NC State's goal line. This set piece proved to be very effective in creating a quality chance.
Curdy and Salim with great chances on target. Talking about NC State being committed to holding in the 18. There was everybody, even the bench players. The coaches were in the box trying to limit any chances on target.
Shows the commitment. A huge opportunity for them at stake here.
Their State sits 5-2-1 at home, but they need a signature win to boost their ACC performance. Wolfpack team that is fourth in the ACC in save percentage, so Hatsios has been good in these moments. Because falling behind 1-0 to a defensive-minded team would seem very difficult to overcome.
Especially if they pack the box. That makes it infinitely harder to dismantle their defense because you got to pull numbers out and then figure out ways to get in behind so you can get shots on goal.
As Curdy commits the foul here. Senior defender, all upperclassmen, including 3 seniors on the back line for Coach McIntyre. A team that has not won the ACC tournament in 7 years, but this is a roster that is built the right way to do it. They could win the division championship tonight with a victory. Gunle sends it high into the air. This is kept alive. Pedrogosa with immediate pressure lays it off to Butte. There's a long ball to Cleel. Just couldn't hang on to it.
Going back to that, Pedrogosa does a really good job penetrating off the dribble to then dish into his midfielders. I think he sees pressure, reads it well, and then takes his space with a change of pace, and I think that makes a difference in how he completes his passes.
And as an alert defender, he knows where the space is, right? He doesn't pass into traffic. He allows his other defender to operate in some space.
And not only that, he plays his teammates into the correct foot to set them up to either go forward or avoid pressure.
That's why I love your perspective, Brianna Pinto, former North Carolina Tar Heel, now North Carolina Courage midfielder at the NWSL. It's so neat to see your growth, too, professionally. It sounded great tonight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's neat, too, because you mentioned you hadn't played here at Dale Soccer Stadium with some of the unbalanced schedule in the conference.
We actually played at Wake Med my freshman year when we played against NC State, and then we played them at home in Chapel Hill. But we never got a chance to play here at Dale Stadium.
Syracuse, in fact, last time these teams met were also at Wake Med. So it's been 4 years since the Cuse have been here in Raleigh on this campus.
It's a beautiful field. They've got a wonderful crowd tonight.
Senior night for a Wolfpack team desperate for points. As Edwards plays it back to his box. That was a risky preposition.
Will Butte was so calm and composed in that moment. He read the pressure well, turned, and then decided that he had to go back to relieve the pressure.
Oh, Poku with some contact. Tried to sneak past Pedrogosa there.
Again, Pedrogosa tries to drive forward, but cuts it back because of the pressure, and it earns a foul.
That's my vote for Pedro. You're old enough to know that movie, right?
Unfortunately.
Napoleon Dynamite. There you go.
Okay, I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah, no, good. I just wanted to make sure.
I needed help.
No, you're fine. Get it. Trust me. Now I just watch Disney Plus at night. Part of the ESPN Plus subscription, worth every penny. watching these ACC matches too. Final 10 minutes of this first half. And more contact. Play continues, advantage for NC State. Long shot from distance into the mitts of Russell Shealy. I think Naray would want that back. He put it right on target of the keeper.
I think he could have driven a little bit further and then looked to hit it low, because in a position when the goalkeeper's already set, anything high is pretty easy for them to get to.
And when he plays far enough away from the back line too, he has that angle covered, so you really shoot right at him. It limits your opportunity.
He had Connor Kelly on the flank, looking to create an overload on the right side.
So there's the foul. The play continued with the advantage.
Glad to see Plamana back on his feet.
And Plamana's important for NC State defensively. He's played the full match for the last 5. It looks like a yellow card may be issued here.
I think he also brings bite to the midfield, especially against a physical Syracuse side. You need someone who's going to get into tackles and win the ball and break up passes.
And you know what? No card issued. The head ref makes sure everyone's on the same page and play continues. It's important for Josh McCloskey to keep an eye on the physicality. This is a Syracuse style that likes to be rigid and tough on the ball. Check on the clock here, possibly. Maybe add some time on the clock. Okay, yeah, so Josh McCloskey is signaling he wants to add some time.
That's one of the things I do miss about college soccer, the fact that the time stops when there's a stoppage in play.
Well, I was going to say, because, you know, bonus time is one element of it at the professional ranks, but then in a traditional 45 minutes, you know where the time ends and there's more urgency.
Absolutely.
Then you go to the World Cup and you see 7 added minutes, and it really drags out those matches. Adds some drama to it, clearly. But
the drama makes it so memorable.
That late chase for a final goal.
I think in these last 10 minutes, we're going to see both sides try to push for a goal to get that edge heading into the half.
Both teams coming off 2-1 victories on Tuesday. 8 shots for Syracuse. 3 big saves for Hatsios in this first half. There's Lucas. What, his last shutout, October 11 versus College of Charleston. He's pitching one so far. Oh, Luke Haley tried to just climb the ladder to earn that throw. That was a unique angle. And our head ref asked for the throw in to move back a couple of feet. And a couple more. I appreciate Josh McCloskey sticking to his guns, right? He could have allowed the player to move forward a couple of steps, but he wants to enforce where the ball was truly out.
He's done several of my games before, and I think he does a really good job calling it strictly, and he keeps control of the game ultimately. And I think, especially in collegiate soccer, it gets chippy sometimes, and making sure that you're on top of it and not letting a game get out of hand is one of his best qualities.
John's crew with Patrick Schmidt and Bradley Schrader, along with Clive Edwards, the alternate official, just in case. There's open space for Christian Curdy. And immediately chopped down. No foul called. It's knocked to the feet of Syracuse. That's Colin Byrose, the Akron transfer, switching sides. Look at NC State being more assertive here, applying pressure.
You're seeing a little bit more back pressure from the forwards.
Right to the feet of the keeper here. This is a dangerous position to be. I know these players are excellent on ball, but it gives you a heart attack as a coach. Poku hangs on to possession, sends it out wide. Inside the 18, Iros centers. And deflected out by Edwards. I love the play of Kendall Edwards tonight, the senior out of Atlanta. He's been sharp on that back line.
He's been steady. He's been working cohesively with Pedrosa. I think they've done a good job stepping as a unit, and then they shift appropriately to apply pressure on either of the flanks.
His confidence on the ball really impresses George Kiefer, a senior celebrating his senior night tonight, 42 career matches. And this little tussle results in a corner kick. Kurt Kalov comes in.
Syracuse corner.
You practice those 100 times and you still find a way to butcher it every once in a while, so my apologies to Kurt. He had 2 assists early in the year against UConn in a 5-0 victory. He's 5 assists this year and sends in a promising ball. It's pushed wide. Syracuse wants another corner here. They won't get it.
No matter. I like the whipped in ball. It's at a pace where they can get a body on it, and I think it's part of their set piece to send a lot of numbers to the near post.
You're right, the way that angle comes off, it could easily fall into that far corner. NC State entered a couple of players as well, including Santos, number 11, out of Portugal. Enrique Santos gets his first minutes. Pomona lost it in a tough position. Syracuse with 8 first-half shots. Maybe a ball here for Kalov. Love chips in, head of the way. Nice shouldering down for Syracuse. There's Gunley. The crafty Curdy, the senior defender, playing up. Bring those fullbacks a bit forward. Klailov. Good ball out wide. Chance for Syracuse from 18 and sent high. Hatsios might have got a hand on that. And he does concede the corner.
Does such a great job of Colin Byros to strike it so well. He hits it right in the middle of the ball, drives it to the upper corner, and Hatsios is there to get the stop.
Another save for the NC State keeper. That might have been for the crossbar, if not. Back corner, headed in, redirected. And it is a corner kick conceded.
They're applying a lot of pressure right now to keep this ball in the attacking third, earning consecutive corner kicks.
4 for Syracuse. A lot of pressure late in this half.
Upcoming Syracuse
Important for the sophomore keeper, Lucas Hatsios, to direct traffic. I love the tussling there with Rauch. Battling with Hilly. Rauch trying to find the right spot.
Makes it so much harder to track him as a defender. And
using the goalkeeper as a screen.
And then also staying goal side.
Well short on that corner in. And punched away. Final 2 minutes of this first half. Syracuse pressing late. Byros plays it down. And earns the throw. We have not called Johnson's name much tonight. Levante Johnson tied for the ACC lead in points with 20. Heard a lot more from Nathan Opoku, the Ghanaian goal scorer, 8 goals for Syracuse. Oh, might have been a handball there. And it results in a Syracuse throw. Space here, and that shot over target. Promising from 40 yards out.
Syracuse is identifying a lot of space outside the 18, and they're having their chances. Just gets slightly under it, and it's also the crossbar.
That is pretty. That has to keep a goalkeeper honest, too. He can't play up from his line as much.
Absolutely.
1 minute and a half, number 1. 1 minute.
Hunt Tech transfer to Buffalo, New York. D3 transfer. This is part of the philosophy for Syracuse. Find hungry, motivated players. Here in the final minute. A low scoring but entertaining first half. And settled down by Syracuse. Clay Lav rolls it in. Another corner. 6 corner kicks for the Orange.
Syracuse, corner.
Noah Singleman has to work quickly here with his counterpart, Clay Lav. Could be the final chance of the first half. Clay Lav goes low. Rolled in, shot deflected.
10,
Another corner with 10 seconds remaining.
Got to rush to get it in play.
6,
Clay Lav tees it up with 5.
4,
From
3,
post, headed away.
1.
And NC State hanging tight defensively in that first half. 0-0 with defensive half, and nice effort from Syracuse pressing there late.
I think NC State has stuck to their game plan. They've remained.
We have 45 minutes of fun coming up here in Raleigh. And NC State with the first touch here in the second half. Sent long by Will Butte. Opoku put it in a dangerous spot. Let's see how NC State handles that ball pressure from Syracuse in the second half. That was a big note for George Kiefer this week. Can our team play composed on the ball with a lot of bodies in our face? And right there, they lose it. Byros chips it forward. We wanted Johnson. (13 shots for Syracuse in the first half. They have played a ton of low-scoring matches this year. 4 straight wins, 3 of those by 1 goal, so they've found ways to pull out tight contests. There's the always well-dressed Ian McIntyre, 13th year at Syracuse. And searching for an Atlantic Division title. That could come with a win tonight or a Wake Forest loss. By the way, that match is also scoreless at the start of the second half, so there could be a couple of draws tonight. Mana sends it forward. There's Connor Kelly flipping it out wide. Agunle has been tough to break tonight, and he holds firm. Boy, the foul here on Syracuse. Nice free kick opportunity for NC State.
Cabezas is isolated and looks for the Megs to get in behind. He ends up earning a set piece in a really great area of the field.
I like that terminology, like nutmeg, the Megs. That's kind of a neat way of saying it. I learn something new talking to you every night, Brown and Pinto, that's for sure. Brent Northcon, a courage midfielder and a standout ACC player herself. So So Connor Kelly in a promising position. Plenty of options in the box for NC State, who has just one shot tonight. First moment of the second half for the home Wolfpack. Here's Kelly. Low liner, deflected out. Syracuse surrenders just 8 goals, top 5 in the country, fewest allowed. St. Louis, the Billikens, lead the country in goals against average. That ball is kept in play. Nicely done on the far touch. Opoku chips front post. Dangerous spot. Byros redirects in. Look at this tussle. And sent forward. And it goes out of bounds. We noted the other matchup in the conference, Wake Forest and Virginia. That's all knotted. Yet to score. A lot of quality teams in this conference playing tonight. 3 ranked teams. If you're keeping track at home, a Syracuse win or a Wake Forest loss, and Syracuse earns that Atlantic Division title and a #1 or 2 seed in the conference tournament, which that can be huge for matchups.
Securing a bye also is huge because it allows your players to rest.
Not much there, just a light touch from Cabezas. Coach McIntyre getting his 2 cents in. Syracuse, the more physical team coming in. They average about 8 fouls a match. That's their stylistic defensive. They want to rough it up, make it hard to hold possession. And an example here, a little physicality. Santos got into him. And still down for the Cuse.
Nobody there on the back post. Plenty of free space to exploit.
So Curdy escapes the damage with the man back to his feet. And switching fields. Good touch to play that back in. Here's Singleman, the man who was knocked in the head a moment ago. And now he's tripped.
A little bit of stabbing from Clemana.
Crafty senior Noah Singleman out of Germany. 2-time team captain. Edwards absolutely sends that into the air. Edwards now on the defensive assignment. Shields off one of the best scorers in the ACC. Johnson plays it back in. Still got a foot on it somehow. Here's Enrique Santos. Santos gets into space. And he's tracked from behind. Advantage continues. Stock for Stowe! Noe Cabezas takes advantage. And that's what NC State needs.
Santos just does such a wonderful job driving into the back line. He's actually tackled here, which could have earned a foul, but they played advantage. And then strike from outside the box. Wonderful effort from NC State. Noah Cabezas strikes it so well, hits it to the near post. It's bending a little bit out of the reach of Shealy.
First goal of the year for Cabezas, and what a great time for NC State. 6 minutes into the second half.
You can see the boost of energy NC State has. They're a little bit more energetic. They're going to be on their front foot. But for both teams, the next 5 minutes are critical because a lot of goals are scored 5 minutes after a half, 5 minutes after a goal is scored, or any big change in momentum in a game.
And these next 5 minutes are crucial for both, maintaining the pace after giving up a goal for Syracuse. Just the 9th goal conceded by the Orange. This will be Syracuse ball. Bezos, who has 15 career starts. He only played 27 minutes on Tuesday, but his big minutes here in the second half could be vital. Ooh. And we're off touch from Russell Shealy. In an ACC play, that's only the first goal allowed for Syracuse in 3 matches. They've been really good in the conference of holding teams off the board. A hungry and desperate NC State club. There's a long ball, searching for Cabezas. Shealy here tested at his 18, sends it all the way back. But an off touch by the Wolfpack and Edwards. Long ball out to Singleman. Fires on target. Deflected in! Syracuse 2 minutes later knots us up at 1.
Wonderful bending ball from Singleman. He sees the space between the back line and between Hatsios. And it's in that in-between space where you're not sure who's going to clear it. Hatsios makes the attempt to get a touch on it.
Now
but the ball's just bent so well.
Who had the final touch here?
I think the goal will go to Opoku. But just wonderful run, wonderful recognition of space. Oh, no,
it's actually off NC State.
Edwards.
Edwards the last man to get a body on it.
And the difficulty in that is you're facing your own goal. So how do you defend it when any touch is on frame?
You're trying to mark the player running to the back post. And own goal awarded. Now you can't put that all on Edwards, too.
No, of course not.
Hatsios got a tip on it, and then it deflected off Edwards' leg. And now Syracuse will take it, right? As a scorer, you know you want to take that goal any way you can.
Celebrate it like you scored it, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
But again, that big 5, those 5 minutes after a goal scored, it just changes the course of the game. And NC State needs to figure out how they can bounce back from that. And Syracuse is going to try to push forward and get the lead.
Syracuse begging for the throw here. They will not get the call. And Ian McIntyre noted the resilience of his team. They conceded a game-tying goal against Bucknell on Tuesday, and for his club to come right back and score and then win the match 2-1, I think that resembles a lot what we see tonight. I love how we go the first 50 minutes. There were 15 combined chances, nothing really coming through, and then boom, in 5 minutes, 2 quick goals.
I'm sure both coaching staffs were on their players about figuring out a way to be the difference maker, and surely both teams have showed up.
Cabezas for NC State, Singleman in the own goal for Syracuse. It's 2-1 the last time these teams met. That was right here in Raleigh 2 years ago. Wolfpack, in fact, have won 3 of the last 4 matchups. Syracuse hasn't earned a point in a couple years, so here we sit with 35 minutes, and I imagine there'll be plenty more opportunities. Resulted in an NC State throw off of Christian Curdy. And George Kiefer noted this week, what will be the difference maker? How will our team find ways to score against a nationally ranked Syracuse defense? Well, it's a reserve in Noe Cabezas who strikes a beauty inside the 18.
One of the cool things about reserves is they step onto the field hungry because they're trying to prove why they should start within their own team, and that competition that you have in your own team drives excellence between your players.
NC State's been dominated by Connor Kelly in terms of goals, right? 7 of the 14. And then that 7th goal scorer of the year steps out of nowhere. We have a whistle here. Oh, okay. His shin guard popped out.
Karlov lost his finger.
I was curious what he was looking for. Those are so skinny and finite at the professional and college ranks, too.
Yeah, these days everyone looks to find the smallest bear they can find.
Until you get one right off the shin, then you wish you had a little more protection. Long ball testing the back line of State as Pedrogosa heads it away. Good switch of direction for Curdy. Goulet wanted the handball. He won't get it. But Syracuse hangs on. Out wide to Curdy. Byros, a nifty midfielder, earns a corner. And that was actually Kurt Kalov, I should say.
Syracuse is going back to the setup where they pack the numbers around the goalkeeper.
Kalov goes mid-post, headed high. That'll be a goal kick for Syracuse. Or sorry, NC State. There's a foul called inside the box on that corner. All those efforts of saves, 4 of them from Hatsios, has kept his team in it. He does concede the tying goal, but that could play a factor here. Look at this run through traffic. Now wide to Opoku, who fires and deflected. Another test for Hatsios. It's his 5th save.
I really like this effort from Opoku, how he receives the ball on the flank, cuts in to give himself a chance to open his hips and look back post, because Hatsios started to cheat a little bit. But he goes back to the near post. And
how much do you read that as a goal scorer? Do you read the hips of a goalkeeper? What do you look for?
I think it's more about where your hips are facing, because if your hips are open, you can go to the back post or to the near post and read where the goalkeeper's positioned. And they're looking at the same thing because it helps them guess how to save the ball.
As Shakira would say, the hips don't lie. If you can read it well, you're in a great position.
But one of the things I think Opoku does well is he's incredibly organized in the box. Like, he knows where he is at all times, and he has an idea of where he wants to shoot. And when you have that idea, it makes you get the shot off a lot quicker, which gives the goalkeeper less reaction time.
And that's why Hatsios had to be really quick on his feet to jump left. He wasn't sure. You're right. He going in near post, far post. And with a goal scorer in Opoku, who has 8 goals this year, also 6 assists. He is clinical in those chances. A through ball here, opportunity that's almost converted, but a corner kick is earned for NC State.
Again, great job to drive inside, lay it off for Opoku, who cuts inside, opens his hip to give himself a chance to get a shot off.
That's a great point with Hatsios, because he is starting to lean to that far post and has to quickly bounce back. Not an easy save at all.
We're seeing Caden Tolentino in his first minutes on the night. He stepped into that role last game. Will Butte was out.
So the freshman of Pinehurst, North Carolina, enters for NC State. Here's Connor Kelly sending it in. Kelly goes near post, punched away by the keeper. Sheely there. Critical ball for NC State to avoid the counter, and they hold off.
Great effort by Tolentino to use his body well to shield it.
This is in a dangerous spot. Hatsios comes out, kicks in the pad direction. Almost won by Opoku, and he would have had a wide open net. First-year starter in Lucas Hatsios has been tested tonight. Now 5 saves, 1 goal conceded, and it was an own goal at that. Contact here with Hilly, and he earns the free kick.
This isn't a dangerous area of the field because you can play in a...
Oh, quick move for NC State. Pardon me, Brianna. Chipped in, headed through, and nearly converted. That was Cabezas looking for his second.
I like their initiative to play quickly.
Self-start?
They caught Syracuse falling asleep almost. Great chip ball into...
And the student section was ready to jump for joy on that near side.
Yeah, Noah Cabezas has been very active here in the second half.
Levante Johnson re-enters for Syracuse, and that's a big score. 7 goals, 6 assists for Johnson. And while he enters, Opoku takes a breather. So a different offensive lineup for Ian McIntyre. Also of note, Gianna Leibold re-enters for the Cuse, who started this match at midfield. It is, Nate, late in the season like this. Far less substitutes you'd see early in the year, especially in the non-conference matchups. And both O'Keefer and McIntyre noted we need to find our lineups, our 11 we trust, heading into ACC tournament play. And looking to buy a foul there. It's not granted. Wolfpack on the counter. Sheely runs out from his post and earns the goal kick. I think Sheely pleading his case to the lead referee there. Not sure if he's looking for an offside, possibly. Or maybe he's asking for that foul back at midfield. I think the different languages you have to take in college, you can take Italian, Spanish, sign language. How about lip reading? Could we add that as a language?
I think that would be interesting.
I'd love to see what coaches say, like reading their lips from hundreds of feet away as we sit here. Those mic'd up segments are always great when you mic up a player in practice or have a coach lined up.
It's neat to see inside the lines of what the coaches and the players are thinking, especially in high stakes moments.
When that energy and emotion comes up, like you said, in extra minutes at a professional level, it can be really dicey. Syracuse on the counter. A lot of options here sent wide. Johnson, centers deflected. Keeps closing in with numbers. Here's Salim. Syracuse 5-0-1 on the road this year. He had trailed early in this second half. A response on the own goal with Singleman getting it started. Shifty Byros sends it out wide to Curdy. Syracuse with that 5 midfielding shell has really been able to spread the ball horizontally very well tonight.
Curdy's seen a lot of the distribution tonight, and Coach McIntyre notes how Curdy has been one of their most consistent players across the season.
A Syracuse team that overcame an 8-8 start, but they have really stepped it up here recently. 12-2-1. So Jeremiah Luoma comes in for Luke Hilly. I imagine Hilly will re-enter here in a few minutes, but give him a breather for Luoma. the Atlanta, Georgia product. Georgia Southern transfer. Junior Neray, who had some nice minutes in the first half. A LaSalle transfer, led his team with 8 points last year. There's the first touch for Luoma. Edwards heads it in an awkward spot, so he scoots it out of the pressure. Now can NC State counter? Luoma. Out wide to Murray. Murray up ahead. And played back by Salim. A lot of tugging and pulling here in this second half. I love to see it. How much will the referee let it stand? Here's Neray. Chips it in. Headed out of the box. Smart by Curdy. Butte from distance. Plays it wide. Cleal spins. Looks to create space. Floats it in. Into the midst of the keeper. Nice ball sent out by Edwards. Slowing down the counter. I love both teams barking for a call, right? Who's going to earn it? And here's a whistle on Syracuse. Handball. And we have a found wallet in the stands tonight. Syracuse trying to cash in on an ACC division title if they pick up a win or a Wake Forest loss, which as of right now is in their favor. Virginia with the 1-0 lead. Still plenty of time to go though in both these matches. You have to tip the person who found your wallet, right? You got to give them a couple bucks, don't you?
Yeah, that's very kind of them.
Loose ball outside the 18. Promising for Neray. Pedrogosa floats it back in. Syracuse, the top defensive team in the ACC, concedes a goal 6 minutes into this second half. Noah Cabezas off the bench with a blistering shot. And then Syracuse just 2 minutes later responds with an own goal on the Singleman cross. Final home match here at NC State in the regular season, and the home faithful a little more invested with 22 minutes to play. Pedrogosa.
Great ball. Oh,
Yeah, good idea though.
To catch him on the other end.
Nice pressure here from Johnson, who does commit the foul. Levante Johnson with 4 game-winning goals. It's tops in the ACC, and his most recent was on Tuesday in the win over Bucknell, 2-1 victory. Here's where the pressure of Syracuse can be a factor. And a foul called. Cam Murray remains down as he got tangled up. And Lorenzo Baselli committed the foul. Murray still slow to get up. He might have got stepped on there.
You see a little bit of a touch to the ankle.
Looks like Cam will be all right.
Glad to see him on his feet. NC State is using this as an opportunity to get out of their half.
Senior still hobbling a little bit. Sometimes we wonder about nursing the injury or trying to draw a call, but I think there's some physical pain there too. As Johnson squirms off the arms of Edwards.
You never know these days if any of the players are wearing metal studs, because catching one on the other end of that definitely hurts.
Yeah. Getting good grip on this all-grass surface. There's the head coach, George Kiefer. 4 all-ACC selections in his tenure. He might have another one in Connor Kelly coming up in a couple of weeks. And here's Will Butte winning the ball for NC State up to Murray, who suddenly found his legs and intercepted.
Hard angle to play from Cam Murray. It's the same lane into the same run, and it's a straight ball. Typically you want to look for an angled run to a straight ball, or a straight ball to, or a straight angle to a angled ball.
And a right angle to a perpendicular line to a, I know what you're saying though. They were so compact together, there wasn't a lot of space to work that pass in.
Syracuse did well to read the ball and then close their lines, get compact horizontally.
2 top scorers, Opoku still remains on the bench for Syracuse. He was subbed out for Johnson a few minutes prior. Same for NC State. Switching up some lines with Hilly out for the moment. And a throw here for the Wolfpack. That was a well-placed overhead ball from Syracuse, and a clear foul there, possible yellow card too. So it is a yellow card on NC State.
Butte comes in a little late here. Catches none of the ball.
Yeah, Butte with a clear foul.
You can see Coach McIntyre pretty upset.
Final 20 minutes. Remember, no overtime in men's collegiate soccer this year. This ball could be promising, and nicely played back by Soberg. Booster Soberg out of Uppsala, Sweden, reigning all-conference defender in the ACC with a nice long ball. Now Syracuse re-entering. So there we thought it was coming. Nathan Opoku re-enters with 19 minutes to play. So him and Levante Johnson both lead the ACC 20 points apiece. Poku out wide. And the space here for Byros. There's Curdy, right back to him. Sent in back post, and the keeper's there, Hatsios. Put that in a tough spot to try to head on in or redirect.
As the half has gone on, you can see the game settle a little bit. Hasn't been as transitional.
Oh, good deflection there by Johnson and Opoku. The battle of the headers here at midfield, and it's won by Syracuse. Out wide on a lovely ball. Singleman. He assisted on the previous goal and couldn't find his target.
Syracuse is seeing a lot of good stuff on the right side when Singleman gets involved in the attack and has that isolation, because he's able to look inside for combinations or even serve it.
And the service in the 37th minute of this second half was crucial in tying it up. Out wide to Curdy. His headers knocked down Edwards and sent free by Pedregosa. work rate of these teams is extremely high in this final 20 minutes. No players dogging it out here in the final week of ACC play as Syracuse earns the throw. What's on the line tonight for that man, Ian McIntyre, is a division championship as his club earns another corner. It's the 10th corner kick of the night for Syracuse. A Syracuse win or a Wake Forest loss in the division title along with a top 2 seed in the conference tournament. Corner comes short over the crossbar. Wow, corner kick awarded.
It's a clever touch from Hatsios.
The awareness, too, of understanding where the top of the post is. That's smart.
Because trying to bring that ball down and catch it is tough, especially when you have all those numbers right on top of you, because if you fall back into your net, it's a goal.
Look how high this ball gets. It's like the alley-oop.
There hasn't been much variation on corner kicks for Syracuse. They've been pretty consistent about packing the goal line and playing a whipped-in ball.
Second corner in, headed down by Edwards, conceding another corner.
And because that area is so congested, it leads to a lot of consecutive corner kicks.
Colin Byros, the Akron transfer, who won a national title as a freshman for the Zips. Now looks to zip one in on the 15th corner of the night. Byros delivers. Again, Edwards. This chip by Byros, head of the way, Pedregosa. And wisely cleared. Back to the keeper. Soberg heads it into the air. And it's been all Syracuse possession in these last 10 minutes. Johnson looks to turn, sends it out wide. Curdy. To Opoku. Opoku hesitates, feeds it back. Byros delays, shoots! Knocked down! Johnson! Couldn't get a shot up. Still on the box. And long distance sent wide, a missed chance all the way to the softball field. But Syracuse mounting pressure.
Syracuse really applies the pressure here. Great shot, and it's parried just on top of the 6. Levante Johnson doesn't have his feet ready to get an immediate shot on frame. The ball goes around, but NC State does such a good job moving their feet.
Woo! Camera op up there has to hold on for dear life. Kalov. Because that first touch, he plays it to his dominant foot. If he could just get it with his left, maybe he gets a shot on target.
And you know, one of the things you'll see, especially at the elite level, is a lot of times when you're that close to the goal, you don't need to open your hips. You can toe poke it just to get it off quicker.
Great to have the perspective of a North Carolina Courage current midfielder, Brianna Pinto, with us tonight. So how about this? 1-1 in the second half, and it's all come in these final 45 minutes with Noah Cabezas getting the goal scoring started. That was 6 minutes into the second half. 2 minutes later, Syracuse with this own goal touch off of Edwards, the senior. That knotted it up at 1. And we've seen tonight these two with plenty of chances in the last 10 minutes, especially on the Syracuse side. Shot differentials. This long ball could be promising for Tommy. Whoa, play to the box. Shot on target is high. Henrique Santos with a golden opportunity.
For me, you have to get this on frame. You've got a great opportunity right on top of the box. No one around you. Has time to take a touch and have a shot on frame. Clear.
How are you so calm in that moment, Brianna? Because I'm freaking out.
I think any player, their eyes get wide, the goal's open, you want to shoot it immediately. So it's not as easy as it looks.
Love the perspective of an all-ACC player with us here in the booth because, yeah, that moment is so clinical. You're just outside the 18. You're right, you played on that immediate touch, and you try to put your team ahead against a top 5 Syracuse club.
Any attacker is salivating over a chance like that.
Opoku plays it wide. Final 12 minutes. Syracuse has earned points in its last 5 ACC matches. Luke Kelly returns for NC State as he navigates the ball back. And foul here on Opoku.
Cam Murray's bailed out a little bit there.
Yeah, you can tell Murray kind of dove into that a bit.
Last effort to kind of evade pressure, and he draws the foul.
Big minutes for Kendall Edwards on this back line. He's deflected multiple shots, playing his 43rd career match. Wow, and he gets the foul called here, granted on Salim. So Haley does a nice job of fighting for space. And I can understand why, oh, a yellow card as well. I feel like both players have the right to their spot there. I am curious with the yellow card call. So maybe it's impeding Hilly from turning or playing it.
He uses his body well. Oh. Tries to shield it off a little bit to see if he can hold it up or get a touch on it.
Opoku plays it long for Johnson. And Johnson beats Murray. Second leading goal scorer in the conference. Zigs through 2. Goes to his back foot. Chipped in. Byros with Curdy behind him. And he hits a wall of NC State defenders. But first a substitution here for Syracuse. And Lorenzo Baselli returns. He's had a Bernago, Italy, the Dallas College Richland transfer. 16th match with a goal on his tally. There's Soberg. That's a long ball and just a bit overshot with 10 minutes to play. George Kiefer knows points are so important for his club. At 5-5-3, you want that winning record to give yourself a chance, an outside shot at the NCAAs.
One of the adjustments he's made is he's put another number up top to put pressure on the Syracuse back line. When the play opens up, you'll see up to 4.
There's Hilly. Luke against a solid back line for Syracuse by himself. Soberg deflects it. The reigning defensive player of the week in the conference. He gets nutmegged, and then Soberg wins it right back. That is lovely.
Soberg has been very calm on the back line. He never seems like he's super under pressure. He tries to play out when the opportunity's on. And he's been good about using his body effectively to shield it out or goal kicks.
Soberg has anchored 7 shutouts for Syracuse this year. They did concede this goal tonight, but typically a top 5 defensive scoring team in the country. A lot of contact. Play resumes. And it's won by the Orange. Byros has it. Sent wide to Singleman. NC State committing a ton of bodies back defensively outside of Hilly.
I actually believe that adjustment will help them. Reducing the distance from the back line to the forwards is going to make the midfield more compact, and it's going to prevent Syracuse from establishing a rhythm in their attacking half.
Well, shift there for Singleman is won by Pedregosa. 8 minutes to play. As a reminder, No overtime in regular season soccer. So this is it. Final 8 minutes. Ooh, Singleman goes down. And Pedregosa, he took a tough one off his ankle. Pablo's played every minute this year, and now he lays down on the grass.
Tries to block it with the outside of his foot, and one of the things you learn as a defender is whenever possible try to use your back foot, because the way the ball collides with your foot, it either bends it back in a healthy way or catches you on the back side of your ankle, and it can make you a little bit more
susceptible. Look at Opoku spinning in, firing at Hatsios. How about this keeper, Lucas Hatsios, the sophomore, living up to it tonight. NC State gets out of the pressure with the speed of Junior Nure. Up ahead to even more with Santos. Santos versus Soberg. A little pushing and shoving and a foul here on Syracuse.
I think Santos had Soberg beat. If he kept driving down the line, he had numbers developing in NC State. But cutting back into pressure, it made it a little bit more difficult to connect, but he was good to earn another set piece.
Schoberg with the foul, and now decisions here on the free kick. Head referee will reset the 10-yard distance. All year, George Kiefer, NC State's head coach, has asked, can we be clinical in our free kicks in these moments? Well, what a chance here for the newly inserted Junior Nure.
And that play started with him, the way he drove out of the back, broke the pressure on the dribble, and then found Santos.
Six minutes to play. Great free kick opportunity for Junior Nure, who goes for a goal and bends it wide. NC State re-enters Noe Cabezas, who had the big goal 6 minutes into the second half. He takes out Tommy. Connor Kelly re-enters, the top goal scorer for NC State. So both teams, they're attacking units here in the final 5 minutes. If results hold, Virginia leading Wake Forest, Syracuse would earn an Atlantic Division title tonight. They want to win it offensively. See what's at stake in the Atlantic Division and a top 2 seed in the conference tournament. Nice run by Bazzelli. And he shoots it way out of target. Goal kick is awarded. Time is of the essence for both clubs. There's Ian McIntyre.
You can see Hatsios took a little while to get this ball back in play. It makes me wonder what their plan is heading into these last 5 minutes.
You would think for
push
both
for a goal, or
a lot of reasons to score, right? Especially if you're NC State, you need quality points.
For me, turning up the urgency and being quick to get the ball back in play is key to finding a way to win.
Cabezas sends it wide, but Haley was offside. And now you see Syracuse working it quick back in play.
I think he had a good job to create that separation by bending his own outwards, but he just has to look across the line to make sure he holds it. Sees it developing.
Oh, yeah.
But doesn't make the look to see that he's offside.
Sent free by Sheely towards the 18. Headed down Pedregosa. Opoku bangs into bodies. There's Singleman.
Good step from Cam Murray.
Murray. Concedes the throw. Byros back to Singleman. Into the box in a dangerous spot. Boy, playing with fire, rolling it back to your own keeper. 3 minutes to play. Out wide to Kalev. And he earns a corner kick. That's been the story for Syracuse. This will be the 13th corner for the Orange.
Here's a little bit of variation on this corner kick. They aren't packing the 6-yard blocks like they have before. It'll be interesting to see the runs.
Corner sent short, knocked down. Looking for contact. That's a foul on Syracuse. And a critical call with 2:40 to play. Clock will stop as Anthony Sinclair remains down.
Looks like he kind of stubs an ankle, if you will. Catches it in the grass.
There's the athletic training staff for Syracuse coming out. Anthony Sinclair, the veteran midfielder. 53 career starts in the Syracuse Orange as he remains down.
Makes a valiant effort to try and keep this in play, and I just collide a little bit, and he catches the worst end of this.
And Ray and Sinclair there.
Hopefully he'll make it back to his feet here soon.
What's going through the conversation here if you're Ian McIntyre? How do you settle your team with 2:40 to play?
I think they need to use their width, draw some of the NC State defenders out, and then create isolation, because I do think Syracuse has been good in wide areas by going at them 1v1, getting in line, and serving some of their trailing runners.
Especially with Singleman. He's been really good at playing that width. As Anthony Sinclair slowly being treated, trying to get back to his feet.
It's easy to want to play pretty direct as the minutes tick down, because that's the quickest way to get to the goal. But the hard thing about that is NC State's going to be a little bit more compact to make sure they protect the center of the field and limit shots on frame.
So Sinclair will exit. I am curious how quickly a substitute can re-enter here if Syracuse decides to, if they want Sinclair to work this through.
I think they signed another player coming in here soon.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So Kirkalov comes back in. 2:40 to play in the matchup of top 5 Syracuse and NC State. Wolfpack back line being tested as this ball's flailed into the air and sent forward. Edwards tight defensively. Wolfpack want back-to-back home draws in the conference. They knotted up North Carolina a week ago prior. And Ray was right there putting pressure on Singleman. There's Kalov outside and sent forward by the Wolfpack with Coach McIntyre there to catch it. Final 2 minutes for the 2014 ACC Coach of the Year. His club is a few minutes away from a possible division title. Maybe a goal will help as that's sent wide. promising chance, just under 2 minutes to play. That was Lorenzo Baselli.
Lorenzo Baselli has 1 goal and 4 assists on the year. Looks like he's pretty hungry out there to get it off the half bounce.
And that was the first time your eyebrows jumped on a shot. You've been all business in the booth, but tonight we almost had you there, Brianna.
It was an exciting shot. I think he struck it well, but
It would have been a heck of a game winner. If
the way he followed through, it caused it to spin outside.
Both teams arguing for calls here as we reach the final minute. Opoku dribbling through everyone. And NC State clears. Schoberg knocks it forward. Here's Opoku. He shoots! And bobbled. Lucas Hatsios playing with fire.
Looks like they're going to kill off the clock here. Maximize the time he can hold on to it.
You get the initial 10 seconds, and now Hatsios boots it away. This ball sent into no man's land for Sheely. Syracuse is unblemished, 5-0-1 on the road. They now look for a closing goal. Last chance to Hatsios. And this match ends in a draw. Second half goals for Syracuse and NC State as both clubs earn points. And Syracuse